Sex is a lot of things, but one thing that it should not be is painful, unless you're into that sort of thing. If your woman experiences pain during sex, it can take all of the fun out of making love. And it's understandable. I mean, you don't want to hurt her. You don't want sex to be associated with pain and tension, so you stop having sex altogether. And suddenly you find yourself in a sexless relationship. I have seen it so many times. A woman starts having pain during sex and the couple just kind of stops trying. And I mean, I get it. You don't want to hurt her and you don't want to experience the guilt of having hurt her during sex. Pain brings bad juju into the bedroom and we do not want that. Instead, it might be time for you as a couple to work together to help her to overcome pain so you both can get back to having an amazing sex life and an intimate relationship, no pain included. Why, hello there. I am Caitlin V, sex and relationship coach, and it is my job to empower people all over the world to have a killer sex life. I help men who experience premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction. I help women who have trouble reaching orgasm or have low desire. And I help couples who want to up the spiciness in their sexy adventures. And often, like today, for example, I help people to take power over their sex lives for greater pleasure. Now, when a woman experiences pain during sex, it can be for a super wide variety of reasons. And if you go online, you will probably read about a number of health conditions that she should absolutely rule out with her doctor. She might have a health condition that needs an actual professional diagnosis like endometriosis or PID, pelvic inflammatory disease, or an STI. It could be an old STI that she got years ago. In fact, it could be a whole lot of things. And it's important to rule these out because if she does have a medical condition that is causing her pain during sex, getting it treated is going to have a huge and positive effect on your sex life. But still, I've had many women, probably the majority of women who come to me because of pain during sex are coming after going to multiple doctors. They have already ruled out these medical conditions. Some of them have even gone to pelvic floor physical therapy and they are still having pain during sex. Nothing that they have tried has solved this problem. Well, I'm here with good news because there are many lesser known reasons that women experience pain during sex. And in today's video, I'm going to go over 5 of those surprising reasons, and I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to deal with them so that you can go back to having pleasurable sex, or at the very minimum, choosing pain only when you choose it. You kinky kitties, you.
And here we have the very strange sight of an adult woman pretending to be a cat.
I may be the proud owner of a couple cats. Now, if you've been following my videos and subscribed to my channel, number 1, thank you so much. Number 2, if you haven't been, now would be a great time to subscribe. Anyways, you will know, if you don't already, that I believe that sex is so much more than just vaginal penetration. I mean, I truly believe that foreplay begins immediately after you end your last sexual encounter. I believe that your sex life extends far beyond the bedroom, and this is why you should start fooling around in the kitchen and play a game of grab ass in the parking lot on the way to the grocery store. Like, I personally get offended if my husband walks by my butt and doesn't touch it at all. I believe that sex and intimacy is way more than just PIV in missionary. You can definitely have great sex without vaginal penetration. But as lovely as things like mutual masturbation and oral sex truly are, there is nothing like the magic of penetrative sex. You know, sometimes balls deep just is happiness, all right, for both of us. Secondarily, if you don't address your woman's pain, you will wake up one day and find yourself in a sexless marriage. I can just about guarantee it, because those are the couples who come to me for coaching. They have done everything that they could, sex was still painful, and they ended up being in a sexless marriage, which sucks because sex is the one thing that makes this relationship, your romantic relationship, totally different than any other relationship that you have. And it is also true that sex strengthens your emotional connection. In fact, I once saw a study that said that the more sex that you have, the more affection you're likely to have in your relationship, and increased affection actually increases the amount of sex that you have. It's like a virtuous cycle. Sex, affection, sex, affection, sex, affection, rinse and repeat. And if you're in a sexless marriage that doesn't involve pain, go ahead and check out my other video on sexless marriage. That'll be, I think, here, there'll be a link. Anyway, check that out. But if you are experiencing pain during sex, you are in the right place. So because we do not want that flame to go out and have to be resuscitated, it is important to address these pain problems, and particularly for men, because pain during sex is not just a woman's issue that she's got to deal with. If she's having sex with you, it's your issue too. And by the way, just because a woman is having pain during sex doesn't mean that she doesn't want sex. Just because she experienced pain doesn't mean that she's off sex forever. It doesn't mean that she doesn't want to have sex anymore. It just means that she hurts. I mean, trust me, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. Women love sex. In our culture, we act like women don't love sex, but that is a crock of you know what. Women love sex, women need sex, women enjoy sex, and women want to experience the pleasures of sex. Sometimes we just don't know how to overcome the pain that we're experiencing, you know? And if your partner is experiencing pain during sex, I also want you to know that you are not alone. Up to 75% of women experience pain during sex at some point, but only 20% of women have an actual diagnosed medical condition that explains why. So if 75% of women have pain during sex, and only 20% have a medical condition to explain it, this means that there's a whole lot of things that you can actually do tonight that may make sex feel even better starting right away. All right, let's dive into some of the most common yet least known reasons that women experience pain during sex. And immediately after, I will give you the 6 tips that I have for making sex feel better again. Number 1 of 5, your dick is really big. All right, men, I know most of us think that bigger is always better when it comes to dick size, but let me tell you, it is not true. Sometimes large penises can actually slam against the back of her cervix, which causes her deep pain during sex. Now, as someone who has had sex with some well-endowed men, as well as some lesser-endowed men, I can tell you, you are not required to have an 8-inch schlong and shove it balls deep in order to give a woman pleasure. Does this mean you actually have to shrink your schlong? No, we will get into that in just a minute. Reason number 2 of 5, she has gas trapped inside of her. This is a real thing that happens, and this is the number 1 reason that I've only had hot tub sex / pool / lake / ocean sex once, maybe twice in my life, because one time in health ed class, I heard a horror story about a woman who got bubbles trapped up inside of her vagina, and it was enough of a turnoff that I literally haven't tried ever since. This can happen and it can cause a lot of pain. Make sure that you go slower next time. Reason 3 of 5, she is on birth control. Certain birth control methods like the IUD can cause pain during sex. And this actually happened to me. My partner said it felt like a little army dude was in there just stabbing him back every time he thrust into me. Some studies suggest that women on the copper IUD actually experience more pain during sex than women who are not on contraception. And quite frankly, this makes total sense based on my experience, but that's just one person's experience. On top of that, birth control pills, aka hormonal contraception, can also affect the sexual response and arousal, leading to drier vaginas and sex that can feel pretty rough. And according to one study, some women who take birth control pills may actually be at risk for pain during orgasm. Not fun. Orgasm is supposed to be the most pleasurable sexual experience. To add pain to that, it just hurts. So we'll get into how to work through this in a minute, because I want you to be able to have sex without risking unwanted pregnancy, and birth control is awesome, but it should not cause pain. Reason number 4 of 5, women suffer from performance anxiety too. If you've watched this channel before, you know I talk a lot about how performance anxiety can lead to premature ejaculation in men. And surprise my dudes, performance anxiety can also affect the sexual response in women. And it can cause things like vaginismus, which basically means that she's experiencing spasms and tightness inside of her vagina, sometimes caused by fear or the fear of pain itself. Now, even without vaginismus, if she's tense and she has a lot of anxiety that she brings into the bedroom, she won't be able to relax. If you can't relax during sex, it's going to be a painful ride. In fact, 40 million adults experience anxiety on a regular basis, and this can lead to painful sex, which is just another thing to be anxious about. And number 5, vaginal dryness. This is a huge culprit of pain during sex. So if she's going through menopause, experiencing depression, stressed out, maybe even certain times of the month, even if she is super healthy otherwise, an athlete, young, whatever, vaginal dryness can be the cause of her sexual pain. And if that's the case, I have talked endlessly about my favorite lubes. I will include some links in the description and links to my other videos. Now, with all of that in mind, let's now switch into the 6 potential solutions that can help your woman overcome the pain during sex. Number 1 out of 6, lube. Like I was just saying, lube is best. Lube reduces friction during sex. It makes sex way more enjoyable for women because it turns us into human slip and slides. And if she's experiencing vaginal dryness, I highly suggest that you try Royal's water-based lubricant because it is made with aloe, and so it actually moisturizes and conditions the delicate skin of the vagina, and it's pH balanced, so it doesn't mess it up or make it more sensitive at the same time. Again, link in the description. Solution number 2, make your penis feel smaller for her. Now, this does not require some sort of scary operation. There is an interesting device out there called the O-Nut, and no, they didn't sponsor this video, but please send it to them in case they do want to sponsor a video. This device is for well-endowed guys who do not want to hurt their women with their gigantic schlongs. Essentially, you use the O-Nut somewhere on your dick or on a dildo to the depth that is comfortable for her, and it helps you not to penetrate deeper than what feels good. That way you can kind of like get lost in what you're doing without worrying that you're gonna make her feel like your dick is coming out her forehead or whatever. Also, I've heard that this is great for women with endometriosis. And like I said, maybe you have some big dildos around. This is a great way of knowing just how deep that dildo is capable of going comfortably. Solution number 3 out of 6, give her control. Sit back, relax, let your lady choose the sex position and the depth and the speed. Now, you're probably used to letting your lady choose certain things, like whether that's what you're gonna watch on Netflix, shout out to all of you who know way too much about Princess Diana now, or whether or not you're eating sushi or pizza, but a lot of guys don't let their women choose that much in the bedroom. You feel like you gotta be in charge and in control. But when she's in control of how deep you go and how fast you go and all these other factors, she will feel less anxious about the potential pain because she knows when it hurts and she is able to cut back, thrust more shallow, or move more slowly according to what feels good for her. And hey, there's plenty of benefits in it for you. Sit back, relax, watch her boobies bounce around while she rides on top of you. Sounds like a good deal. Tip 5 of 6. Take your time with the foreplay. Women have been begging for longer foreplay since we lived in caves. I am sure of it. I'm sure that some of the very first cave woman drawings were women writing, please, longer foreplay. Kiss my neck sometimes, Bob. The longer you take in foreplay, the more turned on she will be, the more relaxed she will be, likely the less tense she will be, and the better sex will feel for her. And number 6 out of 6, have sex when you and your partner are both relaxed. Okay, so this is even like pre-foreplay. Maybe you want to start with a long bath. Maybe you want to start with a sensual massage or some other relaxing activities. Maybe sex isn't even on the menu. We just get together to give each other long sensual massages, and if it turns into sex, awesome. Maybe it's an evening stroll. Maybe it's some like tea together on your patio. Whatever it requires to lower your anxiety and get your heads in the right place so that you can fully relax, be present in the moment, and search for the pleasure and get away from the pain. All right, one bonus tip here. Remember that sex does not always have to include penetration. Penetration is great, but sometimes if it's been a while or the pain is really intense, you may have to find your way slowly back to penetrative sex, and it might be a while. So explore the other options. Do some deep kissing, exchange some oral sex. Let her know that you're only going to go at her pace. This is a great way to still include sex in your relationship and to establish that you can have a great sex life without pain. Also, taking the pressure off and letting her know that she can take as much time as she needs, like literally it could be days, weeks, months, you will be there with her at every step of the way, is a great way to let her nervous system know that it is safe for it to relax. There's not going to be anything that's going to happen that's going to cause pain. So if you've tried all these things and sex is still painful, make sure that you go and seek the opinion of a medical professional. It could be that she's got a medical condition. I mentioned some of them earlier, and you may not be able to do anything about that condition until she gets treated. Now, if you've already gone to the doctor and you've already tried everything else that I mentioned in this video, this is the time to seek sex therapy and sex coaching. Because often when it comes to pain during sex, there's an underlying psychological, spiritual, or emotional cause that is actually the reason that she is experiencing that pain. It could be tension living in her body, in her heart, in her mind. But in order for us to restore sex back to its rightful, pleasurable place, it will require working with a professional. And that's awesome. The truth is that there are people like me that are out there to help you. If you're interested in working with me and my team, there is a link to our application for coaching in the description below. You do not have to live with sexual pain any longer. Me or all the other qualified sex coaches and therapists out there would love to help you figure it out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you here next week.